Let's bring in our guest. Joining us to discuss is criminal defense attorney David Bruno and former homicide prosecutor Melba Pearson. Great to see you both. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. And I want to begin with the big story of the day, the sentencing of Alex Murdaugh. And David Bruno, today, clearly even Judge Newman said it, today was about the victims. Wanted the victims to have an opportunity to say and have their say. The overriding theme from them was forgiveness, which was interesting, and I certainly admire that. But of course, Alex Murdaugh, he got the opportunity to speak, try to hijack the whole thing, speaking for over 45 minutes, a lot about himself. Your thoughts on that aspect of this hearing?
Yeah, I agree. I think it got off the rails, honestly. First of all, I've never been in a sentencing proceeding where the defendant is able to turn around and speak directly to a victim ever. That's not a common practice in the courts. We're covering trials, and yeah, guys, most of the cases do resolve in pleas. And with the 2 life sentences in the balance, and there's a federal case, and there's the case about the attempted suicide attempt, and potentially Stephen Smith. I mean, this guy's got just a cloud just following him wherever he goes, and it's a sizable sentence. 75 years old is when he's first going to be eligible for parole. But I think the theme of this is Murdaugh, again, just getting up there, stealing the thunder from the victims, turning around. I just couldn't believe that he was able to speak directly to the victims.
Yeah, and from what I heard, I didn't see much change in him. He seemed like the very same guy, but they negotiated this deal, and the judge honored it, so they just got to move on at this point. Welcome back. It is time now for today's Talkback segment. Each day, we post a question on Court TV's social media pages. We gather your comments and questions, then respond right here on the show. Well, today, we heard from convicted killer Alex Murdaugh before he was sentenced to 27 years in prison after pleading guilty to 22 financial crimes. So we asked you, what did you think of his statement? Still with us to discuss, criminal defense attorney David Bruno, former homicide prosecutor Melba Pearson. All right, guys, our first comment comes from Sandy. Sandy says, I am so sick and tired of hearing him say, I would never hurt Maggie and Paul when he was convicted of murdering both of them. He really needs to stop talking about his family and concentrate more on the victims. What a pompous jerk. And David, you know, I agree, I couldn't agree 100% more with that statement. And I think the whole point of his statement, again, was to reiterate the fact that he didn't do those murders, which it just got to the point where I was expecting the judge to jump in and stop him.
I was too. Like I said, I think it went off the rails, and I agree. I think it's the consensus of that particular comment. And then also, this man has not stopped lying since the 911 call. Since he called and reported finding his wife and his son dead. And then from there on out, I was at the house. I didn't go down there, and then bang, the video comes out, puts him on the crime scene. The car data comes out, puts him stopping where Maggie's phone was found, and then he gets on the stand and lies about it again. And today is just one more act of Alex Murdaugh and his lies.
Our next comment comes from a viewer who's watching on Twitter. I would have walked out of there if I was one of his victims. I can't listen to him. Went to run an errand, came back, and he was still talking. You know, David, I want to check in on this appeal that he has going. I want everybody to be clear. Even if this appeal turns out to be something and there's, maybe the conviction is thrown out, there's still no chance this guy's walking out of prison. Creighton Waters made clear he'll try him again. And if not try him again, they'll come up with some deal that keeps him in prison till the very end.
Yeah, still, Alex Murdaugh, even if he gets a new trial, he's got to deal with that 911 call. He's got to deal with the video of him down by the kennel. He's got to deal with the Maggie phone. He's got to deal with everything that we heard, all the lies of Alex Murdaugh. And I think we'll see one change. He's not going to take the stand this time because I think that crushed him. And he does have a lot of explanation for the lies he gave to the police and the financial crimes that was able to be admitted. So I agree with you, Michael.
Yeah, and nobody wants to see another trial. I know I don't. It's just no reason for it. All right, Melba Pearson, David Bruno, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Really appreciate it. Always a pleasure to have you guys on the show.